A lot of good can happen in one night, and a lot of bad can come with it. And when you're a professional athlete, everything is amplified due to, in most cases, professional athletes being such high income earners. You can get your hands on to more, which can get you into more fun or more trouble. These athletes went out and ruined their career in one night. It was March of 1993 and spring training had just begun in the MLB. The Cleveland Indians team was excited because they were about to have their only remaining full day off before the regular season starts. What should have been a nice relaxing reset day quickly turned into one of the biggest tragedies in professional sports history.
Hello everyone and welcome to TSN Sports Desk. I'm Brendan Connor. We do have the regular menu of sports material for you, who was traded Monday in the NHL and so on, but we begin this edition with some grim news from spring training in Florida. Cleveland Indians pitcher Steve Olin has been killed in a boating accident. Two other Cleveland pitchers in the accident as well. Tim Cruz, not expected to live. Bob Ojeda will recover.
Spring training was taking place in Winter Haven, Florida. This was convenient for the team because pitcher Tim Cruz, who had just signed with the team from the Los Angeles Dodgers, happened to have a house in Clearmont, Florida, which was about an hour drive north from spring training. Being new to the team, Tim decided to invite over some teammates and coaches over for some team bonding. They spent the day on Tim's 170-acre property barbecuing and horseback riding. Tim Cruz's property was on Lake Nellie, and the sun was setting and Tim Cruz, along with teammates Steve Olin and Bob Ojeda, piled into Tim's boat and set off to go fishing and look for gators and drink out on the lake. They were getting ready to head back in and meet up with their teammates that were back at the property. Cruz gunned the engine, and due to the darkness and also being impaired with a 1.4 blood alcohol content, he did not see a large extension coming out from the dock. This resulted in the boat smashing into the dock, killing teammate Steve Olin on impact. Tim Cruz died several hours later at the hospital, and Bob Ojeda sustained serious injuries but fortunately was able to make a full recovery. But he had an interesting career off the field. Several years prior to this incident, he actually accidentally severed his finger on his pitching hand with an electric hedge clipper while trimming honeysuckle bushes at his home. Talk about a nightmare for a pitcher. He made a full recovery, and this was just an honest mistake, and so was this next guy's, but letting your coach know that you hurt yourself gardening probably goes over a little better than telling your coach you accidentally shot yourself in the leg. But there's a lot more to that story. Plaxico Burress, a wide receiver for the New York Giants, was out at the club on November 28, 2008. He was carrying a Glock handgun in his waistband. Now, yes, his concealed carry license was expired and it was illegal to have a gun in the club in the first place, but hear me out on this. To his defense, Plaxico's teammate, wide receiver Steve Smith, was just robbed at gunpoint on the stoop of his home just 3 days earlier, and Plaxico lived near him. Also, this was 48 hours before the tragic armed robbery and shooting of Sean Taylor, who was one of Plaxico's close friends and also an NFL star.
Eyewitness News reporter Karen Brown has the developing details.
A family is mourning a son and a football team, one of its up-and-coming defensive players. Washington Redskins safety Sean Taylor died this morning at a Miami hospital after being shot in his Florida home. The 24-year-old was airlifted to the hospital early Monday. According to a family friend, Taylor's girlfriend called 911 after someone broke through the couple's bedroom door and fired 2 shots. One bullet hit Taylor in the upper leg, damaging an artery and causing the massive blood loss that took his life.
So I can't completely fault him for where his head was at, but this is where things would go horribly wrong. Plaxico felt his Glock slide out of his waistband and down his pant leg. He attempted to grab it, but he accidentally pulled the trigger, shooting himself in the leg. He said he didn't even realize that he shot himself until he felt that his pants and shoes were wet. He turned the gun into police following the incident and ended up serving 20 months of a 2-year prison sentence. But Plaxico Burress took responsibility for his actions and bounced back. He turned it into a positive and now speaks about gun safety. But someone who did not bounce back after a wild night out was 12-time Olympic medalist swimmer Ryan Lochte. It was 2016 at the Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Now, I can't confirm this because I've never been in the Olympics or been to the Olympics, but I hear athletes tend to party pretty hard there. Ryan Lochte and his teammates were having a night out, and reports came out that the athletes had been robbed at gunpoint as someone posing as a police officer, but not too long after, it was revealed that they did not get robbed at gunpoint by armed robbers posing as police. It turns out it was a false crime report by Ryan Lochte to cover up what really happened, which was this. Ryan Lochte and teammates were out and intoxicated. He urinated outside of the bathroom, and he vandalized a framed poster, and at the end gave money to the guards that, in Ryan's fabricated story, were the armed robbers posing as police. This was a major shot at Ryan Lochte's public image. He lost out on 4 major sponsorships, which is what most Olympic athletes rely on for the majority of their income. He was also suspended for 10 months from USA Swimming.
And the version we're hearing now is much more about a negotiated settlement to cover up some dumb behavior.
And that's why I'm taking full responsibility for it, is because I over-exaggerated that story. And if I never done that, we wouldn't be in this mess. Those guys would never be in Rio, or were in Rio. None of this would have happened, and it was my immature behavior.
Lochte was charged in Brazil with falsely reporting a crime. However, the charges would later be dropped, but that would not help the fact that Ryan's image was tarnished, and when he was considered one of the greatest USA swimmers at the time and in history, along with Michael Phelps, he really fell off after this. But one person that didn't fall off after a night out that very well could have ended his life was Paul Pierce. Many people don't actually know about this incident because it happened early in Paul Pierce's career, before he was well known and before he put up the numbers that would get him inducted into the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame in 2021. It was September 25th, 2000, and Paul Pierce was about to enter his 3rd NBA season. He was out at a Boston nightclub where he was mingling with a female, but her brother was not having it and ended up getting into an altercation with Pierce. He hit Pierce in the head with a bottle, stabbed him multiple times in the neck, chest, and back. Pierce survived the incident despite doctors saying that if he was stabbed an inch or so in another direction, he would have not survived the stabbing.
And I was a product of some hate. You know, I'm talking to a chick and everything, and then some dude come up, next thing you know, I'm in a squabble, you know, with like 2 or 3 different dudes getting stabbed on the ground. Like I thank God that I'm still here. Like I knew I had purpose after that.
Even crazier is that he was playing basketball a month later and played all 82 games of the regular season, averaging 25.3 points, turning him into an NBA superstar. And speaking of superstars, superstar NFL tight end Aaron Hernandez ruined his life in one night, but I'm sure you already know about that, so to save you time, you can go check out one of our other videos right here. See you guys in the next one.